Donald Trump's attendance at the 2025 US Open men's final between Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik was a high-profile event that drew significant public attention, transcending the world of sports. The presence of a sitting US president at a major sporting championship is a rare occurrence, and in this instance, it created a complex scenario involving enhanced security, public reaction, and media management. The incident serves as a case study in the intersection of politics, sports, and public relations. Summary and analysis. The core of the issue revolved around the disruption and public response to President Trump's presence. His arrival at Arthur Ashe Stadium caused a notable half-hour delay to the match's start due to the necessary security protocols. This caused significant inconvenience for the thousands of fans, many of whom faced long lines and missed the initial moments of the highly anticipated match. Once inside, the crowd reaction was a mix of loud boos and cheers, a predictable but potent display of the nation's political divisions. The US Tennis Association, USTA, reportedly requested that broadcasters refrain from showing crowd reactions, an attempt to minimize the political spectacle and keep the focus on the tennis. However, this action itself drew criticism, with some labeling it as an attempt to censor public dissent. The reasons behind the intense reaction are rooted in several factors. First, the political climate in the United States remains highly polarized. New York City, in particular, is known for a more progressive political leaning, which likely contributed to the audible booing. Second, the disruption to the event itself fueled frustration. Fans who had paid for tickets and arrived early were inconvenienced by the security delays, and it was widely reported that this frustration was directed at the president. Finally, the event's high visibility meant that any action, whether from the president, the crowd, or the organizers, was under intense scrutiny and amplified by both social and traditional media. Reasons and consequences. The primary reason for the extensive security and subsequent delays was the presence of a sitting US president. The Secret Service is mandated to provide comprehensive protection, which naturally impacts large public gatherings. The consequences, however, extended beyond simple logistics. One immediate consequence was the negative public relations for all parties involved. The USTA faced criticism for both the delays and the perceived attempt to censor media coverage. President Trump's attendance drew both support and condemnation, with his supporters viewing the boos as a sign of the liberal media and public, and his critics seeing it as a continuation of his divisive public presence. The fans, the most important element of the event, were left frustrated and inconvenienced. Another consequence was the shift in focus from the sports spectacle to the political one. The US Open final, a culmination of 2 weeks of world-class tennis, was overshadowed in news headlines by the political drama. The narrative became less about Carlos Alcaraz's impressive victory and more about the crowd's reaction to the president. This diversion of attention is a significant consequence whenever high-profile politicians attend major cultural or sporting events. Predictions and solutions. Looking ahead, similar situations are likely to occur, especially as politicians continue to use major cultural events as part of their public engagement strategies. We can predict that increased security will be the norm. The need for enhanced security will remain a constant, leading to potential delays and inconveniences for the public. Event organizers will have to proactively communicate with attendees about these measures. Public reaction will persist. The mixed public reception to political figures at such events is likely to continue as long as the political climate remains polarized. Broadcasting challenges will evolve. Broadcasters and event organizers will continue to grapple with how to cover these events without either censoring public reactions or creating a political sideshow. Possible solutions for event organizers and political figures could include proactive communication. Event organizers should be transparent about the security impact of VIP attendance and communicate this to ticket holders well in advance, encouraging them to arrive early. Designated VIP areas. Creating more secluded or designated areas for high-profile guests could minimize disruption to the general public. Media coordination. A pre-event media strategy could be developed to manage coverage, perhaps by agreeing on specific moments for a VIP's appearance on screen to limit spontaneous reactions. Consideration of context. Political figures might also consider the potential for disruption and the nature of the event when deciding whether to attend, especially in cities where the reception may be particularly contentious. The goal should be to enjoy the event without overshadowing it. Ultimately, the incident at the US Open underscores the reality that in an increasingly interconnected and politically charged world, a sporting event is rarely just a sporting event.